So I'm going to be doing a coding series and a creator series for Polytoria. I noticed there weren't a lot of them out there. Actually, I think there was only one that I saw. Anyway, so something to note is Polytoria does not have a built-in coding section. You know how Roblox does it. You can script inside of their studio. You can't do that in Polytoria. You have to use Visual Studio Code, and that's honestly fine. It's not too different. It's just a different application. So you will have to download that, and it is just code.visualstudio.com, and I'll have it linked in the description, of course. Obviously, if you're Windows, download it for Windows. Linux, download it for Linux, and Mac, download it for Mac. And when you do go ahead and create your place, whatever you want to name it, I already have mine made. It's tutorial place. You will have a manage settings, so you can change the name, your icon, your thumbnails, your pretty much everything. I think you can add audio here. I believe you have to add audio through this, or upload it through this. I could be wrong. I have not uploaded any audios yet. So no, thumbnails, game passes, consumables. In your managed section of your game, you have thumbnails, game passes, consumables, achievements, access, which is going to be the amount of players you have per server and who can play. So if you want to make it private, this is how you do it. You do it through access. Actually, I think it's default private. So if you want to make it public, you have to go here and then make it public. Obviously, it's not loading. Oh, there we go. Yeah. No, it is. Make it whitelist. And save that. So how Polytoria does this right now is actually really cool. And just in case they change this in the future, which they might, Roblox did the same and they changed it. I hope they don't do that because that would be an L Polytoria moment. But you get bricks based on the amount of visits, which is genius. Obviously, it's not loading, but the ratio is 5 visits to 1 brick. So for every 5 visits you get on your game, you will get 1 brick. And you can collect that right here. It's super important that I go over this because someone's gonna wonder about it. It's guaranteed to happen. And right here, you have version history. So you can back up your game, and you can swap between versions of your game. So this is very, very important stuff. So yeah, achievements, sounds, game passes, I think it all costs bricks to upload. But if you don't know this, you do get free bricks every single day, whether you have a game, whether you make anything. You just get it on login. 2 bricks. Now, it might take a bit to get enough to upload your sounds and stuff. Or you could just buy it for like $1. That's what I'm going to do. And then, obviously, if you do get plus or plus plus, I call it plus plus. It's actually plus deluxe. Very fancy. But I call it plus plus. I will be getting plus plus, by the way. I would highly recommend it because they do need the support so Polytoria can upgrade their servers because it does cost a lot of money to run all this stuff. See, plus 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 deluxe. I'm spending way too much time on this. Time to get to the actual studio, right? So, alright, future me here. I'm here editing this video, and I realized that the mic quality kind of decreased after this point, so I'm going to start playing some background music to hopefully cancel that out. I'm going back to the Create tab. You can also open your Polytoria Creator with this. I also believe that the Polytoria Creator is built in with the actual software that you use to play the games too. So I think it's only one application that you have to download for Polytoria. I could be wrong too. Obviously, not including Visual Studio. Once you have your Polytoria game made, you can go ahead and click Edit to open up your Polytoria Creator. Now, I read the entire documentation, which isn't a lot, actually. It's a pretty small documentation. I would highly recommend reading it too, and if you don't know any of the terminology, just search it up. That's what I did for a couple of them. So, for your creator, you have your toolbox. I don't think they have a feature that loads the top items yet, but you can search up pretty much anything. Kill part, there's probably a kill part, yeah. Right here, a kill brick for an obby if you want. You can take the script from that. So how the Explorer is set up is you have your game, which is everything, the culmination of your entire place. The environment. So you have your environment. This is where you will keep basically your lobby, your map. You know, if I want to add a part, it's gonna spawn in environment. And then you also have your camera, and you will notice there is a properties tab down here. Every single property, I believe, is scriptable. So when you're scripting, you're mostly going to be interacting with this stuff right here. We have lighting right here. We have lighting. Obviously, you have ambient color, so you can change that. Okay, so you can also use the skybox. Skybox is gonna be right here, skybox. So when you're inserting stuff, there isn't a insert tab right here like there normally is when you right click in Roblox. But there is a insert tab up here, and you can insert a image sky, a gradient sky, or a procedural. I'm not even gonna try to, I can't pronounce that, okay? I can't. Anyway, so yeah, you can insert a image sky, and obviously you can upload your. Oh, okay, it was just loading. That's actually a really cool sky. I like that. So by default, no skies. And if you want a sky, you can put it in, and I would keep that under lighting, by the way. All right, now I do also want to go over ways to optimize your Roblox game in, Polytoria game. This is gonna get some getting used to. So I'll just go ahead and also, this is something I didn't know for the longest time. If you hold down control, you can scale it evenly on both sides. If you hold down alt, no, never mind. But control will scale it evenly on both sides. Or you can do the much simpler way of just changing the size. Look at that, 0.00001. I'm gonna go with 50 by 50. Well, that's neat. It even shows you the last known size. Now to go over the rest of the Explorer up here, we have sunlight, which is... So, okay, instead of having the properties be in lighting, they just have it in an object called sunlight, I guess. So yeah. Then we have the players. This is, so when a player is spawned in, it clones everything in player defaults, player GUI, and it puts it inside of your character and or a, player up here. So this is going to be all your server side stuff. Then of course you have script service, not server script service, but it's pretty much that. This is going to be all your server side scripts. So if you have a, for instance, if you're making a murder mystery game, this is where you are going to do your voting. So you'll teleport the players in on the server side, because you can't do that on the client side. This is replicated storage, so the player, it's hidden, but it is replicated storage, effectively. So the player will load this, they just won't see it. Now, server hidden is something that so a player cannot access server hidden. A player can access hidden, and they can clone it, but since it's a local script, only that player will see what's cloned. Now, if the server clone something from the server, it'll affect all players. Server means everyone. Local means just your computer. While the server scripts will run for everyone. So if I have a part and it changes color on the server, everyone will see that. If it changes on a local script, only that player who owns that local script will see it. Player defaults, you have backpack. This is where you can put tools. You can also put scripts, and those scripts will be cloned into the character, I believe, with the backpack, right? I'll test it out later. You also have player UI, and we have a lot of UI options. The GUI, which is the main group of UI elements inside. You can put a UI view, which is a frame. I was super confused on this. I was thinking, is it a viewport frame? Because that's what it sounds like. But no, it is just a frame, a normal frame. And you can put a image label in. Parent it under that. Change the color, the text. There's a lot of properties you can mess with. If you want to change anything specific for a player, you have to do that locally, by the way. I'll go over a lot of this in future tutorials, so definitely stay tuned. That is a giant jukebox right there. I think I accidentally clicked 3 times. No, wait, that's not a giant juice. Okay. I'm wrong. By the way, instead of backspace like it is on Roblox, it's the delete key. And if you don't have the delete key, I believe some computers don't have the delete, or some keyboards. I could be wrong. But if you can't find it, you can just right-click delete. Now, with the Explorer covered, I will start covering some of this stuff at the top. You can insert a script through here, and you can insert a local script. Like I said, local means on the client, which would be a single player. A module script, which is a table. This can be used to store information, to retrieve information. And we'll get into these in a future video. I'll probably have to write a script because I cannot wing that video. Network events. From the documentation, I think it's remote events. From client to server, server to client. Player can send a message to the server saying, hey, give me a taco, but I want the taco to appear for everyone. The server will say, okay, I will spawn in a taco right in front of you. A signal, I don't know what this is. If I had to guess, it's server to server, so 2 different scripts can communicate with each other, or client to client. Bool value, a true or false value. Color value stores a color. Instance value stores an instance or an object. So it could be this brick, it could be this sound, it could be lighting. I don't know if it can store a service. It might be able to, as long as it's a instance. Integer value. So an integer is a whole number, so there's no decimals. It could be positive, negative. A number value, which means any number. A string value, which is text. And a vector 3 value, which could be a position or a rotation. And vector 3, you will definitely use vector 3 a lot, because vector 3 will decide the velocity. Again, I don't even know how to optimize this. I asked on the Discord, I got no response, but that's fine. I looked in the documentation, and it told me what I already knew. Controls the velocity of a part. Obviously it does. It says velocity. I know that. Anyway. Oh, and you also do have a lot of properties that you can use. So if you want your... Here, let me give you a amazing example. You can set your mass to 0, your friction to 0, and turn off gravity. And this part you can kick and will go flying that way. I will also go ahead and make another part. There is spawn, so this is going to be a spawn point. Normally in Roblox they have spawn parts, so it's a separate brick, but I guess, you know, with all the texture. And then I guess Polytoria, you can just make any part a spawn, which is honestly pretty good, I guess. To test the game, just to demonstrate how the physics work, by the way. So yeah, I spawn on this brick. I can... Oh, it's anchored. Yeah, there is anchored. So anchored means it will be affected by the physics. If it's anchored, it won't move. It'll stay in place eternally. Can collide means you can walk through it. Its collisions are on or off. So now if I test this, you will notice that I will be able to kick this brick. If it doesn't go flying up already, sometimes it does that. I can kick it, and it will not be affected by gravity. It won't fall off. It'll just go on infinitely. Yeah, bye. Something to note is you cannot animate your character yet, But if you're able to upload meshes, you can upload meshes with animations. So what you can do is you can import this guy to Blender, you can animate him in Blender, and then you can create a custom character. That's the only way to actually animate your characters with custom animations, and it's not worth it in my opinion. Let's just wait for Polytoria to make an actual animator. It's bound to happen eventually, guys. Oh, and for anyone completely new to Polytoria, there is a built-in sprint mechanic. You see the sprint bar at the bottom right here. So, yep. And then you can disable that in either player or player defaults. Yeah. Stamina enabled. If that's checked off, or if you change any of these stats, really, you set these all to 0, you will not be able to run. So if you don't want running, that's how you disable it. You don't have to disable the stamina bar or anything, because it only appears when you're running. There's also a way to disable your health bar, and I will get into that in a future video. We're not going to be doing much scripting today. It's mostly just exploring the creator, just to help you guys get familiar with it. If you're a complete noob, a novice, like I was, I haven't even made a game yet. I just read the documentation, so I'm winging this, and I think I'm doing an incredible job. You know what? If I'm doing an incredible job, you guys have to like and sub, okay? You guys got to make sure this video blows up and I become famous, yeah. Anyway, on to the tools up here. We have the color tool. So you can select your color right here, click off of that, click the paint tool, and then paint your objects. This is a spawn point. I like my spawn points kind of transparent. So you can change the transparency in color, okay? Alpha is transparency. Change that. And am I wrong? Hold on. I'm stupid. Oh, no, I was right. It's just I put it the wrong way. So you want your alpha to be 0, okay? If your alpha is 0, you can't see the part. Obviously, that's too transparent for me. So I'm going to... There we go. So now you can kind of see it, and I'm also going to make sure that you can still see this, and that's a base plate. And I'll make the spawn point black, just so it's... There we go. Spawn point's black. You're gray. Oh, I forgot to turn down the alpha a bit. This is how you make glass, okay? I saw some people kind of confused on that on the Discord. This is how you make transparent bricks. Very important. It's so important, I will probably add timestamps, just so people can see anything they need, really. Also, your select tool, your move tool, your scale tool, and your rotate tool. Actually, I'm going to spend a bit more time on that. So, yeah, you can change your color in properties, along with your alpha. For the scale tool and the move tool, they both snap to one stud, because that's the default. But if you want a smaller movement for it, so if you want to get very precise on your builds, you can change that to anything. So you could do 0.1 and it will, well, you could do 5 and it will go by 5s. There. So you can change it to 0.1 if you want a very precise way of, you know, scaling. And then I usually just keep mine at 0.5 or 1. And for rotate, it is the same thing. It will snap to this rotate right here, and you can deselect those for pretty much microscopic changes. I don't do that because it gets very imprecise. So, as you can see, this is going by a 45-degree rotation. That's 45 degrees right there. I usually keep mine at 15. It's the most precise with being able to visually see the difference. So yeah, we have material, we have color, snapping, rotate, scale, move, all of this cool stuff. You can also add part, like the basic part, but you can add the basic part, but you can also add more parts down here, like the mesh part. So yeah, you have your brick, your sphere, your cylinder, your wedge, your truss, which inherits a climbable. This makes it climbable. It's a property that you can't add onto other bricks, unfortunately. Anyway, you'll notice Control D to duplicate, by the way. So you'll notice that if I change this to 0.1, scale this down quite a bit, and put it on the edge right here. Then I change the alpha to be pitch black. When I go ahead and test the game, which is under tools, by the way, I didn't mention that earlier. You click tools and then test game, and that's how you join your game. And it will open up a different application. So that's way too low. If I jump on this brick right here, I can't make it up because normally on Roblox, you will start climbing if you are close enough to the brick. It doesn't do that on Polytoria right now. But if you had a truss, you can actually climb the brick. But yeah, if you're ever making an obby, it might be worth implementing some of these kind of tricks just to make your game a lot smoother, a lot funner to play. Right, so moving on from the parts, we have elements, text 3D, which there's a plugin on Roblox that does this, but Polytoria is one step ahead of Roblox. You can add 3D. Oh, that's just a decal. No, wait. Is it? Oh, it's just a surface UI. Unless you can change. Is it actually 3D or is this just a texture? I think that's just a texture, guys. So yeah, there is a 3D text. Not 3D, but you get the point. You can insert decals, sounds, which you can also do over here. Particles, which you can definitely find. I've seen a lot of great ways to implement particles. Just for example, the Polytoria versus Robots, I believe that's what the game's called. It's uncopy locked. I would highly recommend going through that game, looking at their scripts. It's just a great way to learn scripting. Now, you can also add folders. It's a much better way to group stuff if you don't want everything in a model to where, you know, you can't resize this brick but not this brick. You can put these in a folder and you will be able to separate the bricks. Okay, I'll just put those back in environment. So, going on, gameplay wise, I don't know why it's labeled gameplay. We have tools. If you don't know how tools work, you can create a model, add a script, a local script, a remote event sometimes in it. And a great example of this is this sword that I was looking at earlier. It'll load. I'll give that a second. So there are tools. If you want the player to start with a tool, you put that in backpack. This gets cloned at the start of a character being cloned, and anything inside the backpack will be put inside the character. There's also a NPC. I'll probably do a completely separate video for just exploring this guy, because there's probably a lot you can do with this. I did notice there's a lot of cool stuff with pathfinding inside the documentation. So yeah, I'll definitely be showing you guys how to optimize this the best of my ability. Body position, it works the exact same as in Roblox, I believe. Just from the documentation, so what brick is this? Future me here. I'm speeding up this footage because I absolutely struggled for a good 20 minutes before I realized that I didn't have gravity or friction or any mass to the part. I forgot to change that back from earlier in the video. So the basic rundown is the target position is where the force will be trying to move the brick to, and the force is, I don't know how it's calculated or anything, but I think a good force value is probably 50. Oh, and acceptance distance is the range with which the part will stop applying force. Oh, wait. Well, no wonder if it's massless and if it doesn't have friction, obviously it's just gonna go everywhere with that kind of force. I totally forgot this was the same brick. Okay, it kind of glitched out there, but it is gonna apply force until it gets back to that position, as you saw. I'm going to maybe lower the force a tiny bit. Let's do a force of 50 and the acceptance distance of 5. I changed the force, it changed the other variable. So as you can see, you could play around with it. So my footage got kind of corrupted after this point, so I will have to kind of cut it short. You aren't missing a lot. Before I do end the video, I do want to go over the documentation. Oh, and yes, I do use Shotcut. Anyway, there's a lot of cool stuff with the documentation, and it's definitely worth a read. It's linked in the description again. It goes over everything that you can know, because this is the culmination of the entire studio right now. There's a lot of cool stuff that some people probably don't know about, and how to optimize and how to use. Like data store, it goes over how to use data store. I see some games that don't use data store right now, which it can be a bit buggy. It's definitely worth trying to use. But there's also core UI, so you can disable chat, you can disable your health bar, your hotbar, which would be your items, like your backpack. Also tween service, we do have tweening, which is amazing. You can tween color, numbers, positions, rotation, etc. And then it goes over all the properties of your world stuff, your services, like hidden service and all that, and the physics, which we only have body position for right now. Also your scripting, which includes your network event, and your base script, which is just these three without any of its server class and local class. I think that's what it is. Inherits base script. Oh no. Okay, so these inherit this. Also, there is a lot of cool examples in here on scripting, and not only that, but you can also look at the tween type and get a good kind of sense of how the tweens look. This is a really useful graph that it's definitely worth looking at. So yeah, I guess I will end off the video here. Again, linked in the description. Anyway, subscribe and goodbye.